Hold up, Diddy. Hit him with part two, son.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of 1320. We're so glad to have you guys with us again. So, we are doing a couple of things. Why are you looking at me like that, Lindsay?
I'm just smiling.
You really smile.
Sure.
Y'all never see Lindsay smile like that. So, anyway, this season, you guys, we're doing a couple episodes with our friends, all right? And so, we're going to do one with Lindsay and her people. At some point, RJ going to have his people. And so, today, we are with me and my people. And so I'm going to introduce them, and then Lindsay's going to just do
Quarterback.
Quarterback. Yeah. And so over here you got Frank. Say whatever, everybody. Frank.
What's up, everybody?
Q. I'm not giving formal names. Jason and Justin. And so we're talking about friendship. And for me, my friendship life has been unique. I've had the same set of friends for all my life, for the most part. But there are two sides. So I have my preacher friends that I grew up in church with, and I have my I call them the regular friends. So
We not regular.
Y'all ain't regular. And I have my regular guys
Right.
that I grew up with in school and in the neighborhood. And so we just here together to talk about friendship and laugh, crack jokes, and Lindsay's gonna quarterback. So as the only female.
Well, the first question I have is I talked to a guy. He basically said that men don't really make new friends. Like their core friends that they meet when they're younger, like grammar school, high school, are the friends that they keep versus women who go through life and like meet a best friend every other year, and it's like, oh yeah, that's my girl, I'm hanging out. I do think that we do make friends very easily and you know, all the time. Do you guys feel that way? Do you feel like you kept the same core friends? You haven't really changed?
I think that I make friends. I think it is a difference though with the friends that I've had. I mean, you know, like Darryl, Frank, them guys. I mean, we've been friends 25 years, something like that. So I would say the friends that I've known the longest, the reason I keep them close, I don't have to interpret myself as much, right? So, you know, there's certain stuff that you just gonna say, you know, they got all the inside jokes. Part of the reason I keep them close, they're the ones with the blackmail pictures and material. So, you know, in case something get out there, I know. Yeah, he sent us some pictures yesterday in a group text. I said, you know, if these get out, I know who got them, I know who to shoot. So, you know, so I think that women do make friends more easily. I mean, I think the other thing is women, y'all disclose to new friends easier. Like y'all meet somebody 5 minutes, know their whole life story. Brothers, you know, like I don't know what this dude eat. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's so crazy. So y'all do you feel like you guys like, I feel like Resheida knows everything that I do. Anytime I'm dating somebody, she knows that. Like, I don't feel like y'all really talk about. Do y'all talk about when y'all dating somebody? Or do y'all talk about that? That is so weird.
I think like in a relationship, it's pretty much like everything cool.
Yeah,
she cool. All right, and that's it. You know, maybe if you got a problem, you want to vent. Then, but like, I don't know if you know the ins and outs of different details.
No,
what he likes, what does he do? You know, that's kind of.
If you look at our group chats, you would swear no one was in any relationship.
Yeah,
because they're just we don't talk about it.
Now, well, there is one caveat though, and I'll say it's levels to this. And you're talking about guys and friendships. I think it's levels to this. So you're talking about us being friends for 35 plus years, and then we have friends that might be different levels in professional and stuff like that, and you got 20 years in that, so on. So I think it's levels to that. Now, we're talking about relationships. The way we talk about relationships is not so much as going into details. It's like when me and Darryl say something, he'll say what he did, and I'll say, okay, I've done things similar. So we kind of know the way the other person's going to think, and from there we infer. Oh, if you were put in this situation, I know what you have done. I don't have to ask you.
Yeah.
I know you're crazy. Yeah. I know what you're going to do in this situation. And that's what we already have figured out.
No, you don't know anybody's crazy. You know.
I'm sorry.
Y'all try to get crack at it.
No.
You brought the group chat. I'm like,
my bad group.
Yeah, that group chat ever get out. Like,
So do y'all ever check each other? Like, if one person is doing something wrong, do y'all ever like call them out?
I mean, I think that's the good thing about friendship is that you can call your friends out, and they interpret it as love. It's not, oh man, he got beef or he trying to come at me. He always judging me. Like if your friend check you, you did something wrong. You like again, like someone on the street say something to me, I'm liable to react to them like, bro, slow down. You don't know me, but he knows me. So when he says it, I take it as critical. I got to really look inside and say, okay, what am I doing wrong? Because clearly I crossed the line. Clearly I did something that ain't right.
Yeah, and I think for me, like each of these guys and some that aren't here, at some point in life, each one of them has corrected me on something. And it's interesting too because there's been times where I will be doing or have done something and not notice. And one of them would be like, "Bro, you do wild." Yeah, it was like this dude one time, man. Remember that time we ain't gonna say what was going on, but this dude was like, "D, you do realize you're a preacher, right?" And I was like, "You remember that?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, you know what?" My bad. And what he was referring to, that I had no clue that I was doing, you know, what he noticed. And so the benefit to us for me is, you know, having these two separate groups is then I can like bounce it off of Quincy, because Quincy's gonna have a spiritual, you know, him and Frank and them, they're gonna have a spiritual kind of like, yeah, da 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 da. They're gonna be like just the natural, like, dude, that's just stupid, you know. So yeah, you know,
How do y'all even get to that if y'all don't talk to you, if y'all don't tell each other y'all business? Like, how do you?
It's not that we don't tell each other our business. I mean, part of it is intimacy. And I use that word loosely. Men, you know, women. Bonding, connection, right? That's something that you develop over time. Men, the thing is, women, y'all drop guards easily with other women, right? Until the other thing is though, y'all fall out quicker with other women, right? You know, y'all will be friends in 10 minutes and mad at them, hate them in 2. Y'all be their friends 20 years. I don't fool with her no more. What happened? You know, I ordered cheese fries and she ordered my fries with no cheese when we was at brunch. They're like, y'all stop speaking over that. She didn't know me 20 years. She know I like cheese. And I was like, you know, y'all people.
She did it on purpose.
Right. She did it on purpose. She had cheese on hers. Like, so, you know.
I would even say, even to that point, because of the bonds that I think men build, correction doesn't always feel like correction, right?
Yeah.
You know, what you would call checking someone doesn't feel like being checked by your boy, right? Because usually whatever we're quote unquote checking about, I really know your intent already. So I'm really saying something about your actions, right? But because I know you, I know your motives and your intent.
And so it's not even the detail part. So you're thinking, again, like one
Yeah, I kind of feel like y'all be doing y'all own thing and y'all don't really tell each other, so y'all can't get checked.
Oh no,
That's not true at all.
Because let me tell you how it goes with me. See, with women, you guys go into a conversation. Girl, where you? Oh, I'm with so and so, and we doing this, and oh, is that so and so? Yeah, that's so and so. Y'all go through this whole thing. Dudes would be like, "Where you at? Oh, I'm so and so house." Oh, all right.
The difference is we'll disclose. Just not at the level of detail y'all do.
Y'all don't ask questions. Y'all probably
No, we will. I mean,
we don't ask a million. You where? Send me your location. What time you leaving? What y'all eat? Oh, is it fun?
No. See, the difference is this. Okay, for instance, women, y'all are going on a date. You gonna tell your friend, I'm 5 minutes away from the restaurant. I gave my car to the valet. I'm walking in. You text me. He ordered appetizer. I think I'm gonna get this for dessert. We be like, yeah, I got a date tonight. All right, hit me in the morning.
Yeah.
Let me know how it went.
Let me know how it went.
Right. So that's it. Yeah, that's the difference.
I think that men also have, as friends, you have a lot of shared subtext that you don't have to describe. You don't. I know you enough to say, "Oh, I'm over here with Shorty," or "I'm doing this," or "Oh man, we about to go do that," whatever. It's okay. It's enough said. Like because, and again, especially for me, and I think men personally, like women. Again, women are so detail oriented, and men spend so much time ducking women's questions that. We don't question each other because, like, dude, I don't feel like getting questioned. Like, where you at? I'm on my way. It's not how far away are you, what street you on, who all with you. You on your way, cool. At some point, he's gonna be here. So
unless it's something you really got to figure out.
Yeah, exactly.
We in strategy mode. That's different.
Exactly.
Yeah, very true.
Okay, that makes sense.
But we don't ask no questions. What was that? We went to. We don't ask questions. So we were at U of I in Champaign. This dude, me and Justin, we shared an apartment together. Just do say, let's ride to the mall with me real quick. The mall's 15 minutes. You know, whatever. 15 minutes away. We get in the car. We ride. We pass 3-4 exits. So I'm like, hey bro, where you going? He's like, dude, just ride. Cool. We keep keep riding. We get an hour and 20 minutes from Champaign to dog on dang near Hazel Crest, Illinois.
Wow.
And I'm like, bro. He's like, where we at? He's like, dude, why didn't you say something? Like, you said, don't ask no questions. So we turn around and we ran back. But
What?
You don't ask
Hey,
questions?
you don't ask questions.
Okay,
Shut up and ride, bro. Shut up and ride.
Shut up and ride.
Shut up and ride.
And it's
We would
crazy
never
because
do that.
it carries over. Because I found myself doing that even in like romantic relationships with women. I'm like, why are you asking all the questions?
Yeah, men love to
I
say
do
that.
that.
That's very
Yeah, I'm
irritating.
definitely with
I
this.
just said.
The difference
I
is
got
women think
questions.
it's a suspicious thing.
It is.
Right? Women think like, oh, he hiding something. He don't want me to ask questions. Right? And with us, it's not even a secrecy thing. It's just,
What?
I mean, I think women just don't pick up on that subtext the way men pick up.
yeah.
Mhm.
And it's like, I'm good, I'm cool.
You
What?
really look
How
perplexed.
cool are you? Are you okay? Is it no? I'm cool. I'm chilling. I'm good. Like, let's
So
you know.
are we speaking Martian and you hearing Venetian? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make. I mean, I get it because in my dealings with men, it's always like they don't like questions, and that just is so like what? I don't. But I don't feel like men. I feel like men will ask questions, but they don't like questions
We ask questions?
in relation to a woman. I just feel like you just don't like questions. That doesn't make sense. It's like, well,
even
how do I
in
know?
friendship, we do ask each other questions. It's just not to that degree.
Yeah, it's to the nth degree.
We
It's
want
not-
all the details.
But I also think it has to do with purpose, right? We're asking questions for a purpose. We're trying to figure something out. I don't need details that are unimportant, right?
So,
Whereas you all are asking details where we
They
might be
are
like,
important.
We get on the phone for a reason.
Right.
And we get
Yeah.
off for that reason.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So now look at it like this. To Frank's example, when y'all go shopping, y'all all over the place. That's the conversation. We walk in the store, we going to get what we get, we coming out. So we asking questions, we asking pointed questions to get to the goal, to get to the purpose that we trying to talk about. But y'all y'all over in this part of the store, y'all over in this part of the store. The conversation go here, the conversation go here, and then when we like, hey, we ready to leave? No, you're not leaving this conversation. I want to know more. And that's how I go.
But I also kind of think that's a bit of an unfair comparison to compare two people that have years of relationship and friendship as opposed to two people that are dating and trying to get to know each other.
Oh, very true.
And again, like you gotta at some point you gotta have to ask questions to get to know each other. As opposed to two friends that have years of shared experience and history and just everything that goes into being a friend. To where it's like I asked that question 10 years ago. I found out 10 years ago that day. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, that day we went to play basketball. Okay, I saw. I learned something about you then. Or okay, that day that you was dating that girl or something happened. Like, I learned about you so many steps of the way to where it's like I filled in a lot of holes that maybe women aren't able to fill in, so they have to, I guess, ask. And,
Yes.
And there's no time frame either. So with our friendship, we don't feel like if something goes wrong, as after we build our friendship along, if something goes wrong, the friendship's over.
Mm-hmm.
Or case in point, in relationship is like if somebody texts you, when do you text them back, and so on and so forth. In a genuine friendship, if you text me and I don't get back to you in a certain amount of time, then you just wait till I get back to you.
Mhm.
That's fine. You can't do that.
Yeah.
So the context is totally different. But with our friendship, I think I've seen, even when we see in social media as a meme talking about I'm the type of friend that I may not text you right back, or I may need to take some time myself for a couple of months. But when we are in connection, then we're kicking it or what have you. That thing, I don't think there's the pressure of that in a genuine friendship.
Yeah. So let me ask y'all this. So in my opinion, when I look back on my friendships as a young woman, what I needed from my friends was very different. And as you grow up, it's like, man, friendship is really important or different, like, because it ain't easy no more. It's not like we in college and we don't have any job and we just having a good time. How have you seen your friendships or the importance of your friendships change over time, like as a young man, since you guys have known each other for so long, to where you are today?
I think the context of them has considerably changed.
Mm-hmm.
The things we talk about and joke about in our goals in life, we continually talk about the context of what's going on in our lives, but things change. Now the conversation is about what's happening in life, marriage, relationships, family, business goals, career, and stuff like that, because there is more, and we have more resources to talk about. Back then, we talked about the thing that was most important to us: fun. Girls. More fun.
More girls.
Throwing video games and
That's
parties.
about it.
And then we talk about the things that we're doing now, but it was more so the future. What you want to do with your life in the future? And we might have one conversation along that, just to make sure we were still focused on going somewhere in life. All right, now back to fun. Still got to live in the moment.
Did some friendships fizzle? Like, did you see where there were some friendships that couldn't make that shit
absolutely.
jump?
Yeah. I mean, because I think that you just grow apart. You go to different places, and just, I mean, even emotionally, physically, like financially, it's just, I have conversations. Like, I have a group chat of friends, like my day ones, and they annoy the heck out of me. I'm like, dude, y'all are so backwards thinking. So and it's still like, and they still having who the best MCs on the planet.
Well, they're stuck in the moment.
Yeah, they're stuck in a certain moment.
The time warp friends.
And then I'll talk to, like I said, I'll talk to Darryl, I'll talk to Jason. It's like, oh yeah, man, how's that business? That thing you was doing? What's up with that meeting? How's business going? And it's like, so, and again, like to keep tethered to who I was. You always roll with your day ones. You're gonna keep up with them. I understand what experience I'm gonna have when I'm with my day ones, but I also have a circle that I feel like elevates me, that pushes me, that helps me to kind of keep growing and be more adult in certain situations.
And I would even say to that point also that as we grow and we mature, as you stated, our goals and change, right? And so as a result, like you said, we grow past certain relationships.
Absolutely.
Right? And it doesn't mean that I don't love you any less. It just means that I'm moving forward. Maybe you can't go, right? You're limited, you're stuck in, so I can only have conversations about who's the best MC,
exactly.
right? But where I'm at in my life, I'm not talking about that every day.
Yeah.
And see, with women, it seems like you all's friendships don't necessarily, they explode, or they just, there's some.
It's a definitive point.
Yeah, it's a definitive point. With us, it's a gradual shift, and for me, I think I've been weirdly unique in the fact that I have these two groups, and the group of us that grew up in church, we were always just a little bit more focused about, because we're thinking spiritual, we're thinking heaven,
ministry,
all kind of stuff. And it was interesting because my overlap was weird. I'll tell you a story. Because we grew up in church. I'm in school with them. We all live on the same block. And I'm growing up learning that women are your wife. So dating in this context, and Quentin Frank can tell you, we're like, we're gonna find our wives. These dudes is just enjoying life, right?
I appreciate how you worded it.
The regular for you.
Right. The regular.
And I'll never forget, when the three of us were at U of I, and I met this girl, that I ain't gonna say no names, and I'm thinking, this about to be my wife, because this is this group. So I'm hitting Q up like, I think I done met my wife. He's like, I'm praying. I'm praying, brother. I'm praying with you, man. We believe God. Right? He's like, she fine. Oh, I'm praying with you. I go out with her. She invites me back over, and she's like, I'm about to change it to something more comfortable. And she changes. And she changes, and she come out all sex stuff and looking good, and I'm then like, so what are your dreams? What are your hopes? I'm on this hope because this is gonna be my wife.
Right.
So after a while, she's like, I'm asleep. You need to call your boy to come get you. So I call this dude. They come pick me up, and so he's like, did you hit? And I'm like, well, that's gonna be my wife. He's like, what's wrong with you?
So mad.
He was so mad.
So what's crazy was,
he's pissed at me. This dude is proud of me.
You passed the test.
You passed the test. The Lord has been glorified. This dude is like, you an idiot. And so
hilarious.
I had this weird little dynamic, and that helped shape me. So a lot of people were like, man, you're a different type of preacher. Well, that's because I had a broader group of friends to pull from. And so it evolves, and you stick with it, and then some of them just, they fizzle out because they weren't in all of these kind of moments.
That's interesting. So are you guys saying that you've never had a friendship breakup? Like, you've never had a friendship
Breakup? See, that didn't work out.
Yeah, it's like breakup.
Okay, I get your terminology.
Because you got to like really destroy a friendship, you have to actively, like, you almost got to get into a fist fight.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have to actively, like, bro, like, die slow, get out of my life. You know what I'm saying? Because And because ultimately, because I told a friend, like, bro, like, that's slow, man. Like, kill yourself. Don't talk to me no more. And like 3 months later, he called me, and I was like, oh, I'm good, bro. Like, yeah, let's go get a drink.
So you guys have never had like a friendship that ended and you were hurt about it. Never. That doesn't happen to me.
You know, you might be more mad than her. Like, I can't believe this nigga.
No, I would keep it up. I was like, what's so bad is funny. Me and this friend recently reconnected, but we kind of fell out, and I felt the way about that. I really felt the way. Yes, I really felt the way about that.
You didn't care.
I told y'all that, but no, I felt the way because like this is like probably my oldest friend.
Yeah.
And I was like, and the thing was, is like, and it's weird. I guess maybe I want closure or something. But like, I'm like, bro, we good? Oh yeah, we good. And then I don't hear from you. Then everybody tell me like, man, what's up with you and Buddy? I'm like, I thought we were good. So I approached you 2-3 times. You keep telling me good. I'm like, you know what? Cool. I'm gonna fall back. But it was weird because like I feel like we had a relationship where if I did something wrong, you can come talk to me and say like, hey, even if it's, hey, bro, I didn't like what you did. I'm done with you. Okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? I can accept that because you come to me like a man. But like, if I come to you like a man, like, hey, bro, we good, and you, oh, it's good. I'm like, to me, it was weird because it made me mad. I'm like, bro, that's weak, that's soft. Like, I'm not gonna jump on you or nothing like that. Like, tell me, you know.
So I think like Lindsey, don't break up. It's they shift from categories.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So over the years,
But do you ever mourn that shifting? Is what I guess I'm just like, I find it interesting to think that you guys just ebb and flow to the degree that you don't even recognize the loss of a connection.
because it's not always a loss.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
what I put
Yeah.
it like is this, because the friend he's talking about, we shared that same friendship.
Mm-hmm.
It evolves, or they shift to the point that friend, where at one point in our lives we were all here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then, you know, you get older and life starts getting in tighter and tighter. And this friend just, for whatever reason, decides to stay here.
Yeah.
But these gravitate in closer.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? And so it's,
That's
you
a
know,
very
But see, the thing is,
way to
the
say
thing is,
it.
but you don't
though,
grieve it
You
because
don't
it's gone.
experience
but we
it.
compartmentalize really well.
I get what she's
Now
saying.
that I'll take.
Because
that sounds like a man.
I think she's looking at it as like more of like a tectonic, more like a violent breakup
Well,
type thing.
no,
But
it
it's
doesn't
like,
have to be violent. It's just that, like, I find it. I don't have the falling outs either.
mm-hmm.
I don't have the like falling outs, but I have had, you know, if that relationship it just ends or you no longer are connected to them, I have had times where I'm like, dang, that's sad. I'm
See, that's
sad
the thing,
about
that's the
that.
difference. We'll still be connected,
Yeah, like
just
if
on
I
a different level.
even because even with the
That's
friend
the
I
part.
fell out with, like if I call him like, hey man, we gonna hit a bar, a bunch of us going, he'll still, you know, maybe half the time, a third of the time, he'll still pull up. Or if I needed something, I know, like I say, for example, it's like that friend ended up getting hospitalized. And so I'm, you know, checking on him, calling the family. Oh, we ain't talked in months, but it don't matter. Like it's up there.
Yeah.
You know, that's still family. So
Okay.
we could, like the rest of that, we can deal with that later. But and again, it's not again like it's not necessarily where it's a split. It's more just like a gradual.
Yeah.
You and then you.
I would say growth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, it's just growth.
Yeah.
Because I have some friends, and I mean, I can say that I thought about some high school friends recently. You know, in high school, we shared clothes, right?
Mm-hmm.
I called his mom, and blah blah blah. I haven't talked to him in over 10 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about it, but it wasn't like, oh man, I'm sad because there was no split,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
We
It was
just
just
grew.
grew. Okay.
I think the other difference, though, is I say men compartmentalize. We also operate in seasons, right? And so part of the reason we don't mourn in the same way as women is we associate that friendship and the closeness of that friendship with the season of life we were in when we were close. So, for instance, if we were close 10 years ago and I'm in a different season of life than I was 10 years ago, that friendship, it's set in the space of where I was 10 years ago. And to everything, there's a season, right? And so for us, that friendship went along with everything else in that season. So whatever job I had in that season, wherever I lived in that season, that's what fit with that season. And once I moved from that season, because men, we move from, our focus when we're younger is destiny, and our focus as we get older is legacy. And so we're constantly moving from those two spaces. And if you're not associated with destiny or legacy, you're associated with that season, and it's okay.
If
I
you
think y'all
eavesdrop,
may be some different kind of
you can know very well what a man's friendship is, because the bulk of the conversation is nostalgic and remembering.
Yep.
You know, that's where that friendship is.
Yeah.
It ain't dead.
Yeah.
That's
It's
just
back
where
there.
it
It's
lives.
back
still
there.
back there. Yeah.
And so if it's present
That's a great
and
way to put it.
future,
That's
Yeah.
a great way to put it. Yeah.
that's
It's
the
more
one
current
that's growing.
conversation.
That's that one's still growing and evolving together.
Okay. So is there a guide code? Like, do you guys have general rules that you have to follow as friends?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, what are they? Give me
Oh,
some.
no.
That's the first one we got.
That defeats the purpose of it.
You want us to fall for the banana in the
I
tree?
don't even feel like that's a secret. I feel like that's just, rules. I feel like women have a code or an expectation.
Give me an example of the code that you think you're referring to.
So one thing that I think women do that men probably don't do is like, if we're out, if me or she are out, and we see a guy, and she says something first, he's off. I'm not going
That's
to try.
weird though.
Yeah,
That's weird.
No.
No, I mean because what
That is
that
like
don't apply to
that's
guys because it's like if I like man, shorty decent, and then she want to get at you, who am I to like, bro? She chose.
Right.
Dude,
Yeah,
shut that.
that's
Man,
a-
shut that. She chose. What you gonna do about that? I mean, we have a friend now who has probably been with a couple of our exes at times.
See, y'all, that's another. Now, what? And that's not a rule. That's not a part of the guy code. If that's not a part of the guy code, what the heck rules y'all got? That's like, forget it.
It's knowing. One of the things that makes, at least in this context, relationship lasts is we know each other. And this particular one, though that sounds kind of, it was never with like somebody being like, oh, this is I love her. It wasn't like that. It was, and so, but we know him. You also know not to leave him alone in your house.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so,
Facts.
So facts. You just know.
And I think a lot, and again, and I think the reason why maybe even we're hesitant to give up guy code is because depending on who you hang with, guy code can be very different. I remember these two cats I went to school with, where one buddy they was inseparable. One buddy had a girlfriend. His friend was always on her bumper, always shooting at her all the time. And I'm like,
So weird.
I'm like, bro, like, what's to that, man? Like, that's your man girl. And he was like, well, if that's his girl, she gonna tell me no. I'm like, that's an interesting way to put it.
It's to your face.
But I don't agree with you, but I guess like
And what was the guy whose girl it was saying?
he was
like,
cool.
yeah,
He didn't
shoot.
care. He was like, bro, and like the thing was the guy I approached, he brought up in front of his friend, and he was like, yeah, dude, like ultimately, if you my girl, then you would tell him no. If you gonna go with him, then why am I wasting my time catching feelings for you?
Now that's not.
It's weird.
That's why y'all
It's
like.
weird.
No, that
Y'all got no rules.
That's not this logic.
No, that's not like that's weird to me. But like, I mean, I understand the logic behind it somewhat, but I'm like, yeah, man, that's just too close. Like that's too close to home, man.
So guy code is determined by the group of guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that. I think girl code is too. I think it varies and it depends.
Yeah,
For
we
sure.
don't do none of that.
I mean, yeah, because you'll find again friends that hate on each other, friends do all kind of grimy stuff to each other. I seen Cat fist fight and be cool the next day. I'm like, no, I'm not about to punch my guy. That's like it should never get there, you know? Like that's weird.
And I think another thing, even just describing the levels, I think like women use that's my best friend, right? Whereas for guys, we don't say that's my best friend.
Yeah.
If we're that close, you my brother.
Yeah.
Right?
You family.
And so I may have guys that I'm friends with, but I don't call everybody my brother.
Right.
So that guy code is going to be different because people who I consider my brother, that means we're family, right? So I'm gonna hold you up to a certain level, but a friend is like, we're cordial, we're cool, but my brothers know everything, right? That needs to be known. My friend knows more surface stuff.
Okay, I can relate to that. I understand that for sure. I don't have any more questions.
Yeah, I know. What time is it up there? 28. Okay, we can close it up. You ain't got no more questions?
No.
You sure? Okay.
You got any questions? You feel like you got something to say?
Y'all blow me out. That was good.
You got no questions?
Good.
No questions? All right. All right, John. You're on the phone. All right. Close it out.
Lindsay, that's her name?
Listen, y'all the same.
Somebody close it
Well,
out.
it's been very interesting sitting here with these men talking about their fluid friendships and how
Fluid friendship.
No.
You know,
Let's bring Jack
hold on,
Let's get this vocabulary.
Maybe we gotta take that.
Bring this back.
You done violated a few times. Just
Man.
evolving.
That's okay.
There you
Morphing,
Changing,
transforming.
That's
Yeah.
the same as fluid.
I
No.
I object to your word usage.
go. It's 2021, don't
We
you?
don't want to
That's the
misappropriate.
problem.
We don't want to misappropriate fluid.
Yeah.
That's right.
Let's not mansplain fluid.
Yeah.
Let's stay with that said. You know.
Well, it's been a great conversation with these guys. Some good insight. They obviously wouldn't give us any of the guide code, but it's really cool hearing about how you guys relate to each other, the difference in relationships with church friends and the friends you grew up with, your regular friends. So I definitely think having a network and having people that can check you, that can kind of be there for you is super important. Make sure that you continue to follow us, like us, pay attention next episode. We love you.
Peace.
Yeah.